Alright, everybody, welcome back to another This Week at Bungie. It is the second one of the new year, 2022, and this is January 20th, and a spicy one, where we're going to dive into the raid date for the Witch Queen. Alongside me, I have G3 Tyrant, and for the first time, Pistachio. Yes, you guys have seen him in the videos. You've heard his voice before yelling at me and at the people in Back for Blood. I was about to say Back for Blood 3, but it actually is Back for Blood.
Back for Blood 3.
But he plays a lot of Destiny with us, so we thought, let's bring him in here and get his thoughts. But we don't have too big of a one. Well, it's pretty big in terms of the content in it, but it's not a very long TWAB, so we'll just dive right in. And it says, they're sweeping up some blues this week at Bungie. Time's flying by, hasn't it? Including the article you're reading today, just 5 TWABs stand between us and the Witch Queen. Dun dun dun. They don't have the technology yet to enter a hypersleep that can bridge these gaps, but they do have the power to set some expectations on the topics that we'll be covering between now and then. This week, they'll be talking about power, blue drops, gunsmith reputation, some shifts in exotic sources, and more. And over the next few TWABs, they'll be talking Vanguard rep, Gambit reworks, weapon crafting, Void 3.0, and not necessarily in that order. I'm actually quite happy about what I just read, knowing more about the Void 3.0, the weapon crafting, and Gambit getting reworked again. I'm all for it.
Yo, I could just use some new maps on Gambit. I don't really need it to be reworked, but alright.
Yeah, some more map rotation would be.
I don't care what they do to Gambit. I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I agree with Sasha. It needs some more map rotation. It's just it feels like we're playing on the map all the time with the beat. That or the Titan one where there's no Titan. So
that don't make a lick of sense.
Yeah, we are in a pocket space, I guess. I don't know. The Drifter's own little thing. I'm not sure what it is exactly. But they say here, don't forget the patch note previews and additional weapon tuning details. It'll be a fun time and hopefully give us some new things to chew on over the next week. They might even have a new trailer or two to share with us before launch. And if you haven't been on social media in the last week, you might have missed some last bitty snippets of story, and they have a link to that in the description here, which I'll have a link to the TWAB in the description for you guys to check out. Anyway, that is very loud. What was that?
Sorry, that was my phone. It was going off. I don't know why.
Okay. Oh, weird.
I apologize.
They said, let's kick things off with power and where your guardian will stand when it's time to embark on the Witch Queen's campaign. The power is yours. In the realm of Destiny, power is not only a measurement of your guardian's general abilities, but a consistent gauge for players on whether or not they'll be able to tackle a given challenge. While the Witch Queen won't be feature a big overhaul to the ways in which you gain power, they do have some general updates coming on launch day to get returning and new players ready for a fresh campaign. They want to talk about some definitions here first. Some of the people may know these by heart, but they're always excited to introduce these to new lights and returning players. So the floor, which is the lowest possible power for a piece of gear and is the starting point for a new character. Then there's the soft cap, which is the point at which general drops stop being automatic upgrades. Powerful gear are now the best way to gain power. Then you have the power cap. This is the point at which powerful drops stop being upgrades, and pinnacle gears are now the only way to gain power. And the hard cap is the max possible power from pinnacle drops, ignoring the artifact's power. So we all knew that coming in. That's just for some new lights and return players that may not have known that, but we all knew that. Starting on February 22nd, the power floor will be updated to 1350. Any player who signs in will be at the appropriate power levels to start the Witch Queen campaign, even if they've taken a recent break from the game. So same thing, like what they did with Beyond Light. Anybody that wasn't 1100, they just bumped them up to 1100 when it started. So it's as far as I know, it's the same kind of general idea, right?
That didn't work for some of our clanmates though.
That's true. Some of them, they had like buy the upgrade, right, or just grind it. It
Yeah.
was it was that because
Well,
and it was free on Game Pass too. So
Immortal grinded it, and so did Nutra. He had to
yeah,
grind it as well.
yeah, that's kind of weird. Um, through general gameplay, players can reach the soft cap of 1500 by earning general gear through activity completions, chests, and more, including rare and legendary drops. Once they reach the soft cap, players will need to earn powerful drops from vendors and other objectives in the game. Once reaching the power cap 1550, the only upgrades players will find from there are the end game activities that offer pinnacle rewards. Your final stretch to the hard cap of 1560 will be through raids, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and other end game PvE sources. This is all just a refresher. Um, there are some adjustments to Pinnacle and Powerful sources. All these shift yearly to focus on newer seasonal content and fresh Destiny 2 expansion content offered within the Witch Queen. Keep an eye out on tooltips as you start completing activities. They'll specifically note the different types of rewards that they offer. And they have no doubt that our more eager players will create guides within a week of launch, and that they hope that the power climb is fairly easy to understand once you get your boots on the ground February 22nd. I mean, the power climb sounds exactly the same as what it's kind of been. You get all your blues, get yourself up to the 1500 from 1350 right now, and then you start getting your you put your gear back on, get your powerfuls. If you use your powerfuls in, and then you get your pinnacle, and bada boom, bada bing, your 1560. It's gonna take a while, but it's like I feel like I'm missing. I don't know if I'm missing something, but this feels like the same grind that I'm used to every year. Like I don't feel like this is any different.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it sounds the
I
same.
think we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on here, they say designing an economy is easy, right? Short answer, absolutely not. Nothing in game design is easy, especially when tackling various currencies and exchanges that Destiny 2 offers. This week, they'll be diving into the economy feature lead Joshua Kulinski and speaking on some of the exciting changes on behalf of the team. Joshua here states that beginning in Witch Queen, blues, aka rares, rewards will stop dropping from playlist activities, Crucible, Strikes, and Gambit once players have reached the soft cap. Players above the soft cap, which is 1500 power in the Witch Queen, will instead see a slightly increased chance at receiving legendary rewards from these activities or a small amount of legendary shards. So you'll either just get nothing or you'll get a legendary reward or a legendary shard, but you won't get the blues anymore. It actually says they'll stop dropping from those activities, which honestly I'm fine with, because they're taking, like, once you're at that point you don't need them anymore, and they'll stop taking up all my postmaster space and potentially shoving something out that I didn't want shoved out because I didn't
Yeah,
pick
it
it
allows
up
me
yet.
to stay in the activity longer without having to go back to my postmaster for
I agree.
for what's realistically no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of useless stuff to me.
Yep, I agree. The blue weapons and armors will continue to drop from enemies and chests, though, while playing Destiny 2. They hope that this will reduce the amount needed for players to manage their inventories and frequency visits to the postmaster when running plays activities. Exactly what you just said. So that's good. But yeah, they'll still drop from enemies and whatnot. They can't stop that, but I mean that's fine. That's a lot less frequent from them, and I've been finding when you're a higher power cap, anyways, they generally drop purples. Blues are every now and again, but like I don't see. I feel like it's not as often as just going into strikes and whatnot. They have some work ahead of them. They said when it comes to rarities, such and the subject in Destiny 2, while blue gear helps players increase their power early in the game, they want to look at their place in the overall game. They aren't expecting any major changes in the next few seasons, but will be spending some time behind the scenes thinking about the future of rare drops all up. So potentially even taking them completely out of the game. But this is definitely a good start. So I like this a lot. Thank you, Bungie.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't think they necessarily need to be taken out, but yeah, like if they could find a way to make adjustments to the enemies where like instead of it dropping a blue for you, just give it the effect of what is it, the Rainmaker or whatever it is, where
Oh
you
yeah,
get
where you get
extra
the
glimmer
glimmer.
off the enemy. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that could be a possibility because
They should just honestly give us a feature where we can just, once we hit the soft cap or whatever the case may be, whatever we want to do, just have it in the options in the settings. Auto dismantle blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
I think
huge.
that's
That's
our
it.
choice. It's not an automatic thing, and we're choosing for that to
So
happen. So I completely agree with that.
Mhm.
I like that.
so it's just like it doesn't create this problem where it's like, how do we stop enemies from dropping blues, but chests, will still drop blues. It's just like just let me just auto decrypt everything. Like if it's that big of a deal, like
All they're gonna do
give
is
me a
give you
blanket
glimmer, and
feature.
you need glimmer for everything in the game, anyways. So like it's
So taking out blues isn't exactly going to be a resolution. Like you need them for certain things, for glimmer mostly, and maybe like the gunsmith materials, which like they're getting rid of, I guess, so that doesn't even matter anymore.
yeah.
But
They
I
help
mean,
at
again, they're
once
the
a
main
year during
source
this
of
power
glimmer.
grind.
So yeah, and it's just like the other thing too is like with the blues is like they don't even give you enough like stats or whatever the case may be to even make them worthwhile anyways. So it's like if you want to like buff blues in general to make them worth picking up, which I'll never see happen, but I don't know. I think you should just give us a feature where you can just auto dismantle, and
Yeah,
it'll just fix the problem in general.
I feel like it would fix the problem. Because it's not like they're forcing us to do it, and it's a choice. So if for whatever reason players still want them, they're there.
Yeah.
Sounds fair. What you mentioned on here, they do say here the gunsmith reputation is getting changed. They're implementing the same system that Zavala and Shax have, so they're going to be removing the items that were previously associated with the gunsmith reputation, namely the gunsmith materials and weapon telemetries. The players will now earn reputation rank progress with Banshee 44 when dismantling legendary and exotic weapons and armor, or by completing the daily gunsmith bounties. Players will want to spend their gunsmith materials and weapon telemetries at Banshee before February 22nd of 2022. Enemy materials that are not spent will be removed from the inventory automatically.
So
Mod
you're
and
saying
mods components.
I have a lot of time.
Yes,
All right.
it's time. Get in there.
I'm very
Yeah,
lazy about
let me
doing that.
go
I'm not
through the
gonna lie.
30,000 of them that I have, not to mention the other like
Like
100 some odd things that I have sitting at shacks already.
Yeah. I put
alright.
in 20,000 last night. It took me like
Oh.
a show long to do it, between going there and going back to the postmaster and deleting all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. They say here for mod components, they will be removing mod components from the game, starting in the Witch Queen weapon and armor mods sold by Banshee 44 and 801 will respectively no longer require mod components to purchase and will instead cost 10,000 glimmer each. Furthermore, as
Which
part of the
makes a lot of
update,
sense.
yeah, it does. It just there's less slots in the inventory, right? Like it's especially for like the
Is the,
events when you have just like the Donny event that just came out, you kept getting slots taken up in your inventory, and like from the cookies and everything, I had to consistently go back and delete stuff because I have like 47, 46 of my inventory slots taken up just from all the mats that are in the game from the different stuff. Like,
I mean, at least I don't do the cookie thing and whatever, so like I was always good in that regard.
yeah,
But I can see why it would be annoying.
I bake like 2 cookies, and then the rest of them all go to the postmaster, potentially gone. Right? It's just like, well, that's annoying.
Nah, I feel you.
Um, Furthermore, they say as part of the update, they're increasing the number of mods available at each vendor at a single time from 2 to 4. So if anybody's been missing any mods and whatnot, then they're looking forward to getting some past seasons that will be more available at one time for you. Hopefully, get more chances at it. They should say uh, before moving on, it should be noted that all Ghost mods that generated weapon telemetry will be removed as they no longer serve a purpose. These are the Arc Analyzer, Solar Analyzer, Void Analyzer, Omni Telemetry, and Banshee Special. It's the Raoul's Takeover. As we had mentioned in the past, Master Raoul will be inheriting Spider's material exchange duties in the Witch Queen. This is because, for those who didn't know, Spider and the Tangle Shore are leaving with the Witch Queen as the Forsaken is getting put into the content vault. So, should have already known that. But if you didn't, surprise. Yeah. If you want details on that, go back to one of the previous TWABs. We did go over that in quite a length of detail and talking about it. but they say the exchange rate should match from what you know from Spider right now, and the services will be shifted to the tower as the Tango Store, again, yeah, will be off limits to Guardians. In addition, Raul will also be picking up some of the wares that Banshee 44 and 801 once offered, specifically the sale of enhancement prisms and ascendant shards. As noted above, this makes space for more mods to be available for purchase during a given week. Raul will offer these materials at the same time, at the same price as Banshee 44 and 801 once sold them at. And as a final note, before they move on to some exotic news, Master Raul will also be able to decrypt Umbral Engrams, so players do not have to hop between the helm and the tower to decrypt all of the Engrams in their inventory. Focusing for individual seasonal and armor weapons, it will live in these seasonal vendors in the helm moving forward. So if you still want to focus on a specific weapon and from a given season, you will still need to go to the helm, which is great. There were so many times we would be like, oh, I finished doing my prime engrams, gotta go do the Umbral engrams. You gotta flip back over. So
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, like
I
it's
started
huge
just
when you're not
dismantling
actually
Umbra
looking for
engrams.
something.
Like I would have the Umbra engram, and I'm like, I just dismantle it. I'm not going to the helm.
see, like, and that's just
Well, yeah, you
I get
know
it.
what? Like I can get behind that because like, in all honesty, nothing really good's coming out of the helm. Like,
It's really not. Like once
aside
you
from
get
the
like,
the
'cause at
seasonal stuff where they've added in the extra pieces, right? So like we can now go into like the portal and see Queen Mara and see Savathun there. Then we can go to the other one, go to our fallen friends and the fallen.
I don't
part
even
of the
care
city.
about those people. The only reason why I ever went to the
Felix
helm was
and
to
the
get a
boys call
god
them the
roll
fallen.
grid skipper. That's all I wanted. A god roll grid skipper, and I got it. So I was just like, I can dismantle this crap now. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah. Well. Moving on. They want to talk about the exotics. We got the hawkmoon and the dead man's tail as of February 22nd.
Buff the Dune Marchers.
No, leave the Dune Marchers alone. Nerf the Dune Marchers. Get them out of here.
Alright, now that's just me.
Chain walls.
Just
No,
leave me
no, no,
alone.
no, no, no. Dead bodies chaining. No, no, no. Yeah, as of February 22nd, 2022, the Harbinger and the Presage mission will no longer be accessible. The team still wants to preserve the ability for players to obtain random rolls of these weapons. Therefore, instead of adding them to the Monuments of Lost Lights, as they've done for the previous exotics that no longer have sources, these two weapons will show up as part of Xur's inventory on each weekend. Every week, Xur will offer a unique roll for both Hawkmoon and Dead Man's Tale, and will be purchasable to all players who own a Beyond Light for the following materials: 1 Ascendant Shard, 1 Exotic Cipher, 125,000 Glimmer, and 200 Legendary Shards. As well as the Hawkmoon and DMT and the Aegir Scepter Catalyst will be moved to the playlist activities, such as Strikes, Crucible, and Gambit. In addition to those, they're also adding in the Outbreak Perfected, the Whisper of the Worm, and the Fourth Horseman catalysts all into those same categories, so you can now get them and mass work them for those that haven't been able to do it because they've essentially been locked out of the game. I think this is a good trade-off because like you're losing the ability to go grind it and everything, and you can just buy it, although it is a pretty penny to buy that each week. And but again, you don't have to buy it if it's not the role you want. You could just keep waiting till you get the role you want. But at that time, you could be waiting week after week after week to just not keep getting the role that you specifically want instead of being able to just grind it. So it's
aren't they exotics?
Yeah.
So don't they come with a preset thing?
No, these
Only the Hawkmoon and the Dead Man's Tale has random rolls.
Yeah. You can
Everything
get random
else
Weird.
is preset.
Yeah, different barrels, different grips on them. They're like the first exotics to be able to have randoms.
Which, in all honesty, I've never been a major fan of, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah, I find that a little backwards.
yeah, like just give me its best form possible.
Yeah, I agree. It's an
Like-
exotic, and you shouldn't and the farming again was fun for it, but like now people have to wait again, like I just said, like week after week after week to get like the god roll version of it or whatever for whatever they're doing, whether it be PvE or PvP. So, like I know in the Dead
I
Man's
quit
Tale, like I
Crucible.
like subsistence on it for PvE, so I can just keep refilling and keep shooting, but not necessarily for PvP. I might want something else, like quick draw or snapshot or whatever it has.
Yeah,
Like,
again, I'm
I
not
don't know. Like, I feel
exactly.
like the exotics are strong enough that like you shouldn't have to worry about what somebody has rolled on it.
I agree.
Yeah, because again, the exotic is supposed to be like either the bridge, the gap that like maybe you don't have the god roll of certain rifles, scout rifles, or hand cannons. Then like okay, well here's the exotic version of the god roll you might need until you get the purple one. Here's the exotic, or the exotic is just better in general. Like it shouldn't be lagging behind any of the legendary. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think exotics should stay static rolled. Um,
Yeah, it was just new to me because I missed that season and
Indeed.
couldn't get it unless I bought everything. So
yeah. Here,
I'm good.
here we'll do it a la carte, so that you don't have FOMO. Oh wait, they can't buy it a la carte if they've missed the season. You have to buy the whole deluxe package. Ah, didn't think that one. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It literally wanted to get rid of FOMO, but then you can't go back and buy that season. It just doesn't make sense to
Just gave you more FOMO.
me. Yeah, it's they literally do the exact opposite. Like, I don't get it. But we're gonna
Yeah,
move on
Yeah,
here.
like
that's
it's
Oh,
supposing that somebody still has enough time to complete all of the seasons. Like, nah,
yeah, it's
it's
like
yeah,
I've
people.
been
You
busy.
have to play the season. It's not. Oh, you can come back if you miss that season. When if you don't really care for what's happening that season, and then you come back the next season, it's like, oh, what if your friend tells you, but there's a couple cool exotics and whatnot that you can get, and there's other things like, oh, I didn't know about that, and I want to go get that now. Tough. It's like,
I've been blaming Bungie for all my life's issues since Halo 3, so I'm sure they're used to me complaining about them by now.
let's move on here though. We got the save the raid date. Witch Queen has a new raid. Surprising? Not really. They have a bit of time before the world's first race begins, but they wanted to get a rally flag planted in the sand, and when we should be expecting to take on the challenge. It will be March 5th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is 1 hour after reset, and that's 2 weeks after launch. You got 2 weeks. Well, basically one the first week, and then you get one reset, and then that week, and then an hour after that second reset, the raid's on. So you really can't hope for that second reset to get your pinnacles in, unless you're like ready within that last hour between the raid and the reset. You need to get those last few pinnacles and bang them out. I'm sure a bunch of the teams will. Um, but yeah, that's also a decent amount of time. That's quite a bit of time. So
It's going to be interesting for us considering, like, I just want to go on record and say that Hydration here has convinced almost half the clan to fucking come back somehow. And I'm sorry for cussing, but, like, it was a remarkable thing that he's pulled off here.
thank you. I have as many decks
Um,
stacked against me.
and, like, it's just interesting how we're going to handle the raid going forward since, like, majority of the raids we've learned to do with just the 5 members of the crew. So
Mm-hmm.
I really hope we get 6, but I
I'm
don't
sure
mean
we'll
like
get a 6, but we've managed to do it 5, right? So like I'm not
yeah.
too worried. We'll figure it
We've
out.
already
I always
kind
like
of
to
like
watch the
resided
world's
in that
first
line.
too. We don't usually we've never participated, but I always enjoy watching it. It's such a fun time.
I've never watched it. I tried and then I fell asleep.
You just be seeing the same teams do stuff for hours on end sometimes, being the head against the wall. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's
Yeah.
just like you want to experience the raid for the first time too. But
Yeah, so I
like
don't want no
I do
spoilers,
set that
honestly.
aside because I like to watch the raid, the world's first. It's just like I still get to see it. Like I'm not necessarily experiencing it like live, but like or like for myself, but I will still obviously when I do it with the group. So
Again, if we have enough people by the time the raid is out, I'll probably end up setting up the raid for
yeah,
probably my birthday, March 11th. Or probably do it March 10th between me and my brother's birthday, and we just celebrate it doing the raid.
that would
The
be
worst way to
well.
celebrate a birthday.
Hey man, doing a raid with the squad on the birthday sounds pretty sweet.
So we'll see what happens.
They'll have some additional details on the contest mode, the Bungie rewards, and other need-to-know information closer to the date. Until then, get the time off requests if you're in school. We do not advise faking sick notes from doctors or lying to your parents to stay home. Go to class, do your homework, ace those tests, be a good student. Cheers to that,
Nah,
Bungie.
I would.
Cheers to that.
I appreciate the sentiment, but I would skip
Yo.
Conquer the
Hold up.
raid boss.
Sign up
That is
for
the SAT next week.
whatever online schooling and boom, done. You got both of them. You're at home playing and you're doing it.
I mean, my son's out here grinding Forza cars and he's going to school at the same time, so
Yeah.
it's very possible.
Moving on though from the raid, they said they've deployed the next hotfix. It's hotfix 3.4.0.3, and they had a few issues such as the ornament not being able to be seen on the Witchender bow, and it now can be seen, and or couldn't be equipped. Sorry, ornaments can now be equipped on the Witchender exotic bow. In the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, players will no longer be trapped outside the encounter if they are dead outside the crystal tunnel when the encounter begins. In the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, the damage phase with the ogre will now consistently start after depositing enough cursed engrams. Was it not in? I guess was inconsistent with the amount of engrams that you had to pop in before. I did feel like sometimes I'd have to go like to the extra door, and other times I didn't, and I'd be grabbing the same amount every time. So did kind of feel like something was weird there. They have reverted the colorblind settings that made hot in the last hotfix, and we'll be looking into making more updates to colorblind settings in the future, because I guess there were some problems with the colorblind settings in the last hotfix, so they have reverted it. Oh, there's a full list of known issues in the help forum, and they know that when first spawning into an area or activity, hand cannons sometimes don't have ammo. That's freaking hilarious, especially on a primary that has infinite ammo. So that's. And the Dares of Eternity games streak now gives a maximum of 125 points per completion. Moving on from there, we just have the movies of the week, which are always absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend checking them out. We have the artists of the week, which is some absolute sweet art as always. I always can't stress enough how amazing the artists are in the Destiny community. They just create some of the funniest things and some of the coolest things I've ever seen. And before we leave off, they said over the weekend, a few Guardians out there were scraping our articles together to figure out whether or not Iron Banner bounties will be removed at the end of the season. It was discovered that we had a slight error published to the website, and they want to make a quick moment to explain on what's being removed. The Iron Banner bounties will not be removed at the end of the season. Bounties acquired and completed at any point during this season will be retained after the Witch Queen releases. Note, bounties retained from the Season of the Lost will be capped at 1350 and not give players any bonus power next season upon redemption. An additional note, these bounties will be removed at the end of Season 16 as Saladin will be taking his turn in their rollout of vendor reworks. You hear that? Saladin's finally getting the rework as well. Excellent.
It only took forever.
Right? It's one at a time. And they say, final note, their final Iron Banner of the season will be during the final week of the Season of the Lost. Seasonal bounties relating to the Season of the Hunt, Season of the Chosen, Season of the Splicer, and Season of the Lost will be removed at the end of the season. Bounties from the Tangled Shore destination will be removed at the end of the season. Some daily bounties from general activities or destinations may be removed depending on objective or reward balancing on a per bounty basis. Example, a handful of Drifter and Gunsmith bounties are being looked at alongside some vendor work. Did we just confirm the Drifter is getting a pass? Well, that shouldn't be a surprise. They are tinkering with Gambit in Season 16. More on that in a future TWAB. So, of course, like if they're tinkering with Gambit, I would imagine the Drifter is going to be getting something happen to him, right?
What they could do with Gambit is get rid of it.
Stop
that's
it.
a good idea.
Stop it. They said if you do not want to lose your rewards, they highly recommend that you turn in your bounties before a new year of Destiny content hits the servers. While some of you are looking to rank up your artifact a bit faster than others, we expect many of your mod unlocks to come from completing bounties and jumping into quest activities afterwards. Take your time, you'll unlock all the goodies, they have no doubt. And that does it for this TWAB. But like, yeah, some people like to like stack up on the bounties, you know, and just spam them. Like they'll have like
Eee.
dozens of bounties ready to turn in.
Yeah,
So.
no, I'm just concerned with, oh, you'll get all the goodies. Will I? Will I really? Or am I gonna get the chattering bones 7 times?
I think they mean that in the sense that for the artifact you'll unlock all the artifact mods. Like, but yeah, that does it, folks. Any final words? Anyone want to add on?
No.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. That was good. I was ready for the. I'm excited for the raid. Ready for the raid race, and yeah, that will do it for this TWAB. This again was on January 20th, 2022, and hope you guys liked it. If you did, it'd be absolutely wonderful if you could hit that like button. Please do consider subscribing to the channel for more content in the future. And until next time, have yourselves an absolutely wonderful day. And as always, stay hydrated, because hydration is key.
Peace.
Peace.